Annyeonghaseyo.
I'm Demarche
And I'm Ariel.
and we're
So Do For Two.
Okay, so today's video is going to be on BB creams, and this is something that we actually got into BB creams before we got into Korean TV and Korean dramas, because of an issue we have with foundation. And as you can see from looking at us, we're really, really pale. And our big issue is that we tend to not be able to find foundations that match our skin tones.
They tend to always usually be too bronze, like too orange for us.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of the issues we have too are that like drugstore foundations, I mean, they never worked for us. So it's sort of a reference for anyone who's watching this video and is also fair. Like tend to be NW, NC, 15, depending on what we're trying to neutralize. Then like in Makeup Forever HD, we're 110. So I mean, we're light shades, and we tend to be the lightest pink shade, and sometimes we use yellow to neutralize red. But, I mean, our technical skin has, like, you know, technically we have a lot of pink to our skin. So I'm going to go over, you know, why BB creams they're really big in Korea, and we've seen them, like, advertised a lot, and through the different dramas and everything. But they tend to have, like, some of the things they'll mention on these are things you don't tend to see in American skincare, and this is, like, whitening. They talk about anti-aging, talk about sunblock a lot, and if you see a lot of, like, skincare here, that's not really the same focus.
Yeah, we really like that there's so much sunblock in them.
I mean, some of them, like, the one she's holding,
Misha, this one has 42, SPF 42.
Which is really high.
Which is really high.
Nice. And it's really nice because we tend to like to be fair. We're not really like among the bronzing generation here, so we tend to like that idea that these are like really high sunblock, that we don't really have to worry too much about tanning. But they really like that. We see that a lot in dramas on its own thing. I mean, they tend to like talk about its compliment as like your skin being really fair. But these tend to be like the consistency of them is a little bit different than other foundations we had tried. We know they get compared a lot to tinted moisturizers, but we think they're heavier feeling to them, a little bit more like a cream than a tinted moisturizer.
I tend to feel like when I put them on, it's like almost like enough coverage without even powder over it.
Yeah.
So, and I, even when I have blemishes, so I definitely think there's a lot more coverage than just a tinted moisturizer.
Yeah, I mean, some of the ones, like we have Laura Mercier tinted moisturizer, we have, you know, different tinted moisturizers that we've tried, and they didn't really give you the same coverage, whereas these give you really great coverage. Now, a little bit about BB creams that they tend to only come in a couple shades, with the exception of Misha, which has a little bit more of shades. Most of them come in like 1 or 2 shades, you know, the light or the medium, or it's like I think fair and then light they tend to do, and we can usually find one in that. And normally if there's a company that has 1 or 2 shades, we are not in that 1 or 2 shade. So I'm just going to go over, it's probably going to be a 2-parter. The second one I'll go over all the BB creams I have and like the benefits of them, you know, of each colors. But I'm just going to go over the ones that are really light first. So first of all, I think the lightest BB cream I have would be this one, which is the Misha. It's the Perfect Cover, and this is in shade 13. And I have other shades, I'll show those later. That is this one right here. Oh, right there, yeah. And we will insert pictures now of like in sunlight and regular light, but just so you can get the idea, it's the light one right there. And this one is definitely the lightest BB cream I have. It's also really high coverage, so the lightness really does come out in it. I mean, some of the other ones might be a little darker, but they blend down a little bit. This one is full coverage, light foundation. Another one that's going to be really light that sort of blends perfectly into my skin tone would be this one, the Skin Food, and this is the Mushroom Multicare BB cream. This one I have right here, and I don't think it shows up in the image because it matches so well to my skin tone. This is definitely a little bit of lighter coverage though than the Misha. Another one that would be really good coverage would be the Misha Signature Complete. And this is in shade number 21. Now the 21 in Perfect Cover is too dark, but I will show you that one here. That is this one right here. The only one that looks light on this hand. And this one is actually a really good sort of color match for me. I don't really like the formula as much, but it's a good light shade. The next one I think that works really well for my skin is Halika Halika, and this is the Peach Girl BB cream. That one is this one right here. And it is that one, yes. And this one does match pretty well. I tend to wear this one if I just want to wear this by itself. This one does on me tend to be a little bit more like a tinted moisturizer because it's lighter coverage. Another one that works really well, and this is the newest one I have, is the Halika Halika. This is the Moisture Petite BB cream, and this is the one that comes in multiple different, like if you're oily or things like that. We got moisture because our skin tends to be kind of dry. And that is this big swatch on my hand. And again, this one is so close to my skin tone that you really can't see it in this, but I will add pictures.
Yeah,
for
I was amazed when she put it on her hand, like how much the coverage really
went away. Now the last one that's also, I'd say, pretty light. Now this isn't the lightest of the foundation they have, but this is one of the ones we use the most. And this is the Super Blood Blush Balm from Skin 79, and this is the gold one. Now we also have the pink one, but we like the gold better because the gold's a little bit more for dry skin. And even though it seems to mattify, but it mattifies and really like, just looks really natural on our skin. Now that one is this one right here on my skin. It looks a little bit more gray, and it's not quite as, doesn't really blend as perfectly but on my swatch, but it actually does blend nicely into my face, and it is a lot more gray. I tend to powder over this just to neutralize a little bit of that gray.
It does work really nicely for like spots as opposed to like full coverage.
Okay, yeah, like you're saying, like using more like a concealer. Yeah, so those are the ones I would recommend to anyone who has really fair skin and is looking to start with BB creams. Just because, you know, what's nice about these, and there's a range of coverages of SPFs, and we'll just mention those really fast. The Misha Perfect is 42.
25.
This one is 25, which is the Super Blush Balm Skin 79.
37.
Yeah, you can just...
This one is 37. This is the
Holika Peach BB Cream. The Skin Food, the Mushroom Multi, is only 20, so that one's kind of low for the BB creams. Then the Petite Moisture is 30. And this one is, the Misha Signature is 25. So of those I mentioned, the Mushroom was definitely the lowest SPF, and the Misha is the highest coverage.
Lowest.
Yeah, and this one actually matches more my skin tone. But this is, I would say, if you're someone who's even a little bit lighter than NW or NC15, or just like, you know, lighter than generally us, this one might be the one to go to, because this is super light, and it's the lightest BB cream I've used. And I actually really like this one. Okay, so we're going to do a second video that's going to be on just overviewing all the rest of the colors, because as you can see I have a lot more colors mentioned here that are a lot darker. So if you want to stay and watch that video, click on the next part. Thanks, bye!
Have a great day, guys!